friends. Welcome to the Science Broadcasts. Today, we're going to talk about fake news and fake science. In the recent months, there is a lot of discussion, a lot of coverage on the press, a lot of tweeting about fake news. And what we don't talk about is about fake science. Today, we have an attack on science in our country. People don't trust it, and to some degree, rightly so, because scientists in our country are not behaving like scientists should behave. Science depends on experimentation and on repeatable results based on factual information only. And somehow we have moved away from it. Somehow people think that because they have a PhD next to their name, they can say whatever they want and attach to it scientific validity. And the population in general perceives that so. Well, if so-and-so PhD said it, that must be true. However, that is not how it works. It is not how it's supposed to work. It is more complex than that. The truthfulness of something depends on the data that support it and not by who proclaims it to be true. Have you ever heard of a criminal that upon capture immediately said, "Yes, I did it, I deserve to go to jail"? Of course not. So when someone, a media outlet, a political figure, a scientist, tells a lie, they are presenting it as if it was the truth. But that does not make it the truth. That is where critical thinking should come into play. Critical thinking is our ability to match something to known facts and our ability to evaluate if a presentation of something or a piece of information is actually a reasonable presentation and meets the criteria of truth. If it does not, we must reject it. And I'm getting worried about science in the United States because more and more of the population seems to reject it. And not just reject science, but embrace nonsensical information. If you visit YouTube or any other social platform, you're going to find literally millions of people believing that the planet is flat, for example, and absolute nonsense, or believing that gravity is not correct, and stating opinions like educated people are brainwashed. I chose those two topics because they are so unbelievably easy to actually demonstrate to be true. If you want to see for yourself that the planet is indeed spherical, quasi-spherical, and not flat, all you have to do is take a transatlantic or a trans-Pacific flight, and you're going to be able to see with your eyes that the planet indeed is not flat. There are, of course, other very important facts that can support that. For example, if the planet was flat, how can I start from New York and go either west or east and arrive to Japan? If the planet was truly flat, that would be an impossibility. Seasons will be an impossibility. We will have a hard time explaining day and night. We will have a hard time explaining phenomena such as the Coriolis effect. So when I see that people question fundamental things, and one of my favorites, and I'm a bit sarcastic when I say favorites, is the denial of the existence of satellites, where you can go to any store, buy a cheap telescope, and easily see yourself the International Space Station. When you receive your TV, many of you, via satellite signal, and when your GPS operates on satellite, contrary to some popular belief that operates on triangulation on cell towers. And here is the problem. Triangulation is true. You can calculate position using triangulation. However, it would not be as efficient as one thing, and also it will not be as fast. Triangulation requires a lot of calculations, and in reality, satellites also triangulate, but because they don't have obstacles between the object, which is your GPS, and themselves, they are less prone to error. So we need to embrace science. We must not stop this wave of ignorance that is sweeping our country. And we need to understand that, yes, there are falsehoods. Not everyone, unfortunately, that is a scientist is necessarily honest. And it is up to us, the rest of the scientific world, to correct that. It's up to us to fix that and expose those false scientists. For example, a biologist that does not support evolution is not a biologist, because there is absolutely no scientific thought process that would lead a biologist to the conclusion that evolution is not a valid scientific process. So how can we fix that? Well, it is truly education. It is truly learning. It's the understanding that everything that's on the internet is not necessarily true. It's the understanding that there is indeed fake science and there is indeed fake news. For example, let's take two of the biggest fake news channels in my opinion. One of them is CNBC and the other is Fox. Neither of those channels should exist in my opinion, because the first one, it is extreme right, and if you are to listen to it, the United States is in immediate peril of destruction, the world is ending, everything is horrible because the Republican Party has control. On the other side, if you only listen to the news to Fox, everything is honky-dory, the country is in amazing shape, and there is nothing to worry about. Clearly, both those approaches are incorrect. The ancient Greeks used to say that between two extremes the truth lies. And that is true today, and that is true for science, and that is true for every aspect. Learn both sides of any argument, and more than likely the truth lays somewhere between those two extremes. I've not done very well in maintaining a video library of the science broadcast, but I'm going to do much better this year in 2018. So expect more frequent and more regular broadcasts that will explain and discuss an array of subject matter. I hope you did enjoy this episode of the Science Broadcast, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Keep thirsty for knowledge.